everyone, Armita Satari here from telecoms.com. I'm delighted to be speaking to Nick Wotton from BT Wholesale. Hi Nick.
Hello, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Just to provide our audience who might not be very familiar with BT Wholesale, could you explain what the role of BT Wholesale is within the wider BT Group?
So the wider BT Group has a strategy where one of the foundations is network leadership. Building the UK's best fixed and mobile networks, and that takes a lot of investment, a lot of capex. And BT Wholesale's role is to ensure that we maximise both the use of those assets and also we maximise the return on the investment.
Super, thanks for that. And for the MVNOs watching this video, what would you say is one or two, a couple of key mobile trends currently that they should be looking out for?
Absolutely. Well, the MVNO market share continues to grow, so that's great for anyone who operates in this space. And we've talked before how there's been some enablers that have supported that. SIM-only growth, for example, where people are now buying their handsets and their propositions separately. That takes away a barrier to entry for MVNOs who want to grow themselves. eSIM is starting to become more and more prevalent. I'd say at the moment it's primarily in the roaming sector. But over the next few years, we expect that to continue, and more domestic propositions will be purchased through an eSIM. And that's part of this whole journey of digitalisation, with customers expecting to be served digitally. I think other trends that are good for MVNOs, consumer confidence is generally low in Europe and particularly in the UK. And that means that they are looking for value. And a lot of MVNOs play in that value space. However, those customers still want quality, so quality is still important to them. So that's the consumer market. If we sort of turn towards IoT, you can pick whatever analyst report you want to. It's growing and it will continue to grow. However, I think the interesting observation that we've got at the moment is low power. So low power IoT solutions is going to drive most of the growth that we see from today over the next 5 years. And that's particularly important where networks are investing in new low-power technologies like narrowband IoT, and if you look out in the field today, there's quite a lot of legacy devices in IoT which are 2G only, and those devices are going to need to be swapped out. So they need to be aware not only of that growth in narrowband, low-power IoT devices, but also there's a challenge about migrating some of the legacy bases that are 2G only, and as 2G networks are going to be switched off across Europe over the next 3, 4, 5 years, they've got to manage that migration path as well.
Okay, fantastic. Thanks a lot. You've touched up on future growth on your previous point. So could you share some success stories that demonstrate the growth in this opportunity that you just spoke about?
Yeah, there's probably a few that I'd call out. I mean, generally our business is growing. So in the last year, we've seen underlying growth of 20% in BT Wholesale's MVNO business. And I think that represents the growth in the UK as well. In terms of our consumer MVNOs, there's a few I'd call out that are driving some of that growth. So we've got a long-term partnership with a company called Utility Warehouse, trade as UW. They sell energy, broadband, mobile, insurance. The idea is the more propositions you buy, the more products you buy, the more discount you get. And they're continuing to grow, and we've recently hit 500,000 customers. So that's a long-term partnership. An example of a more recent one is a partnership with a company called Spuzu. So they're a European MVNO in Italy and in Austria who have recently launched in the UK. And again, they're targeting that digital value space. And we're seeing some great growth from them as well. I can't continue without mentioning also migrations is something we focus on. And last year we migrated the Leica Mobile base to the UK, which is on top of that 20% underlying has given us a big step change in our business. We're really proud, and it's great to see that Leica Mobile customers are now experiencing much better network experience, which was the primary reason for them joining our network. Yeah, and then on IoT, in the IoT segment, we're also seeing some good growth. We've got a very strategic partnership with Wireless Logic, who are the UK's and Europe's #1 IoT aggregator. They've got a market capitalisation of £1 billion. And also we've seen some good growth in the connected car market. So we've got several players who are serving the car manufacturers. We've seen some great growth in that, and we expect that to continue as well over the next 5 years.
Super. And then finally, we're here at the MVNO's World Congress. Today is the final day. I wondered if you could share some of your reflections and also key takeaways from this event with us.
Absolutely. As always, it's just great to come together. You've got peers, you've got suppliers, you've got partners, you've got mobile network operators, vendors, all coming together. So it's a great way to get a sense of what's going on. And it's a great way of networking and meeting some new people, but also just catching up with existing friends and partners. So that's fantastic as always. I think this year, we spoke about it last year, this year it's been great to see some more women, high representation of women at the event, so great that you're here as well. It's still very low though, if you think about where it should be. So I'm hoping next year we'll see that grow even more. And in terms of the trends, the key trends are around AI, eSIM, digitalisation, personalisation, all the things you'd expect. And there's a real richness at this event of different views, and more importantly, people who can help with some of those challenges if you're an MVNO partner.
Super. Thank you very much for speaking to me today.
Thank you very much.